Hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libers.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
A little bit old.
Without deep into Danny Roll, please don't.
Being truly horrific having the season away from home.
I want go!
Anyone would think that we rehearse this, and I guarantee that we haven't.
How poor do we have to be before it's happened? How much blood from this stone does he have to get?
For Wednesday Week!
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week, a special edition. Yes, I know we're live at 8 p.m, but it's this time, it's your questions and our answers. So, as always, people have sent in their questions, and we're going to try and answer them. Tonight, I'm joined by Charlie, Simon, and, yes, Dan. He's sat as a podcaster, not a host tonight. So, guys, are we all right? Are we ready for this bit of difference? I know me and Dan have done these before, but Simon, Charlie, breaking you in easily tonight.
No, the fact that your host has completely thrown me.
Well, we tried to change it up a little bit.
It's international break. Everything's all crazy. It's all backwards. It's great.
That's exactly what it is. You never know what you're going to get international break, are you? So, yeah. So, yeah, obviously no Sheffield Wednesday men's action to talk about, but just a big shout out to the ladies who played yesterday and got a cracking 3-3 draw after coming back from 3-0 down. So, absolutely fantastic result for them.
Amazing.
So, big up the Sheffield Wednesday ladies, and great point on the road at Kiverton, I think it was. So, yeah, not far from me. Right, should we get into it? Are you ready? You all know what questions are coming, don't you? Right, here we go. So, anyone who's watching, listening, obviously live, this is, if you're listening later, you can't, but drop a comment or a question in the chat, and we'll try and answer them. So, first one from Matt Summerhill. Cheers, Matt, for your question. With news that ex-Owl Leroy Lita has been playing knock-a-door run after training at Barwell, who, other than Pato, is likely to knock on my door and run away after training? Look, any questions, it's free for all. So, yeah. Charlie, I'm going to go with ladies first, because we're all inclusive on here. So,
it's got to be somebody who's a bit cheeky. I feel like maybe Paul, maybe Valentin, because he's quick as well. So I feel like there's no point, because we say Pato would do it for the bants, but has he got the speed to get away? Not being harsh, I'm just saying. I love Pato, but I feel like Valentin, he's literally just knock, and then he'd have sprinted away. I think he's got the right attitude for it as well. I think he's a bit cheeky.
So Pato for Charlie. Simon?
Is this the current team, Ash, or can this be anybody of the sort of Wednesday history?
Do both.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah, it's up to you, Simon.
Well, I've got two, but neither of them no longer play for Wednesday. So my first one would be Paul Warhurst, because by the time you've actually got off the sofa, he'd be 5 doors down, wouldn't he? Because he was that quick. And the other one would be Ross Wallace, because he would definitely be a knock-a-door run. And if he stood there with a note, from that note from Huddersfield, so when you open the door again, because I was desperate to know what was on that bloody note. So if he stood there going, here you go, have a look at that. And because you're only wee, isn't he? So he'd be like, hello, Simon. Oh, you're not Irish, he's Scottish.
He's not Irish, he's Scottish.
To be sure. Well, he's like a leprechaun, isn't he? He was so small, he could have been a leprechaun. So
apologies to all our Irish and Scottish
and Welsh.
And our short listeners.
Anybody
offended all of them.
It's not even spoke a word yet, and we're already apologising. And we're 5 minutes in. Daniel,
I'm getting before Dan, to be honest.
Daniel, son, go on then.
This one's a good question. I devoted too much thought to it than what was necessary, if I'm honest. And that's what I love about these Q&As. It depends what kind of route you go down in terms of how you're going to approach the question. And the one that I had was Dominic Iorfa, right? Because one, he is the fastest man in Yorkshire. Jot that down, right? And then the second one was, even if they caught him, he's massive. It's like, hey, did you knock on my door? And he'd turn around and go, yeah, and he'd be like, just checking, pal. Like, just You all right?
The problem I offer, he'd knock on 3 doors and then he'd be out for 6 weeks.
Way.
I was going to say the same. Or Alman Abdi, not he'd break his hand while knocking on the door.
Oh.
It'd just be this crumpled mess on your
Nah,
drive.
he'd be one of them that would tell you he's meeting you on the park at 6 o'clock to play knock a door run and then just not turn up. I reckon.
Yeah, that'd be right. Yeah.
I reckon that's what he'd do. We've had some comments, Ash. People have been suggesting their knocker doors. We've got Sharman's been on. He says Joshy would be stood by nearby gobbing on the floor. And then someone agreed with knocker door Dom, which I quite enjoyed. And then Windass again gets a mention in Windass would do it and just stand there refusing to run, which I feel is bit of a dig in that one, bit of barb in that one, but hell of a start, Ash. What about you?
Mate, what for mine? I didn't even think of me. I thought I were asking questions. I thought I was going to get away with it. I'd go in this current squad. No, I tell you what, I'd go Bambo from the last season. I'd go Bambo.
Yeah.
You'd think it were like a bounty, can't pay, take it away thing, and be stood there going, yes, sir, no, sir.
Yeah, I've got a TV license, I promise. I've got.
Matt, thank you very much for that question. Right, I tell you what, let's we've had a little. Well, let's have a serious one. Let's get all the serious ones out of the way. So we've had one from Bernadette on Facebook. So now that DC's paid the tax bill, do you feel we would have to stick to the loan market in January? Now that he's spent all his pennies from the back of his sofa. Simon, go on. What's your thoughts on this coming up transfer January?
I didn't expect anything else other than him going into the loan market, to be honest. I think in this league, signing players, especially when you're not quite sure where your next HMRC payment's going to come from, signing anybody for a large amount of money is quite a task for anybody, not just us. So I always thought we were going to go for the loan market anyway. I think we all sort of looked at Danny and expected some players to come from the German market, some little nuggets, that come from the German market. And we didn't sign anybody from there. So maybe that's still in the pipeline. Who knows? But I think we'll be going for loans. I don't think we'll be signing anybody on a permanent. I think it'll be loan all the way.
Yeah, I think he did quite well last season with the 3 that he brought in. I know Paveda was a bit injured, but when he came in and he did actually play pretty well. Dan, what do you think? Have we got any cash to splash?
I'm going to use a phrase now that's one of those phrases that's ingrained into British language, that when you realise the etymology is pretty minging, up there with the vinegar strokes and touch the sides. I'm going to go with shot his bolt. I feel like we shot our bolt a bit in terms of how much money we can spend.
You're saying Chansiri has shot his bolt.
Yeah. Clip that. I feel like the money we've spent on Ugbo and the money we've spent on Bernard's contract and Windass's contract and all the big ones that we got over the line during the summer has massively depleted the funds somewhat. I'm not going to look too much into the embargo thing, pretty much because I think Chansiri is playing a bit of a game here, because it makes no iota of difference whether it gets paid now or it got paid 2 weeks ago or in the last week of Jan. I just don't think it really matters. And it's gone, when's the actual deadline? He's gone, to the accountant, when's the actual fucking deadline here? And he's gone, you don't need it till the end of December. I'll pay it when some money comes in. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. I don't think it's a mega ask. Do you know what I mean? What was the question? I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, so in order to, it's weird being on this side. I have to think about things. In order to answer your question, Ash, I feel like there's an element of, I feel like in terms of raw transfer money cash, I don't think there's much of that left. And I feel like the loan solution is the way to go. There it is. That's what I got there in the end.
Right, you got there then. Over to you, Charlie. What's your thoughts on the upcoming January and the money situation?
Well, obviously we've got our new carmats.com money coming in, and our big fat stacks.
Hey, listen, Chaz, I will take no feedback on the fact that we paid the tax bill and we announced a new sponsor in the same couple of days. I feel like they're kinship.
That's fine. And I think that's great. It's exactly what it says on the tin. I feel like historically we do quite well when we don't spend as much money on players. I don't know. Like, I mean, without trying to, make too much of a point of it, we spent a fair bit on Ugbo, and so far we've maybe not necessarily got what we've paid for yet. I just think, like, at least when you've paid nothing for somebody, if they shit, you've not lost any money, just time and effort and the will to live. But if you've spent money on someone and they're shit, then it's even worse. And I think, I don't know, it's the Rhodes effect, isn't it? Like, spaffing a load of money on somebody that then doesn't have a good return, it's so much worse. But I do agree with Dan. I don't think we've got it. I don't think we've necessarily got those funds. I think we might have covered ourselves in other expenses, but I don't think there's another piggy bank to go and smash open. So yeah, I agree with what the other two are saying. It's going to be loans, and maybe if we're lucky, maybe a couple of sneaky German superstars will come in. That would be a nice advantage that Danny's got that perhaps other managers don't. But yeah, I can't see us spending big.
My apologies, Chaz. I agree with you, by the way. I would like to just take umbrage with you screwing your face up at me saying shot our bolt, vinegar strokes, and touch the sides, and you dropping in the word spaffing. Like, they're in there. You see, they're in. No one really
This
thinks
is
about what
Dan's
these
fault.
phrases
It's a
mean.
bad influence, Ashley. You need to rein him in. You need to get him in
Come
line.
on, host. Sort him out, host.
He's unmanageable. His CV says so.
And record of achievement.
Put that on your honours board.
My 50p on it is that, yes, I don't think we'll be spent. I think the problem is probably outgoings would bring in incomings, but I just don't think we've got anyone worth any money at the minute that would bring in a certain type of player, maybe. So it will be loans, and you can only judge, obviously, on what Danny brought in last January, like I said before, and I was happy with that, and a lot of people were. So we don't need as many positions, but we still need centre-back and probably a striker, maybe. And depending how Schallenberg went on today in his 45 minutes, then a centre midfielder. So 3 players, and we brought 3 in last season. So who knows? Who knows? Right, here we go. The next one up is from Craig Hay, or at Craig Hay. Who has the strangest match day ritual or lucky garment for the match days? I'm gonna go Simon, since you had a big hoof. So Simon, any match day rituals, or have you got a pair of lucky tidy whities or anything like that?
I don't have a shave on match days.
I do that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't. I don't shave on match days. So, which now growing a beard after I shave here. Bit of shaving.
Just face.
Yeah, just face. Yes, just face.
Does that mean you're not using your Manscaped 4.0 any other 6 days in a week?
Totally seeded, mate. Totally seeded. That is one. But then what happens now is it sort of goes into, because of the beard. Before, when I was clean shaven before COVID, you'd notice it more. But now it starts on a Saturday and then goes through till Wednesday. So it covers me if we play on a Tuesday or Wednesday now. I don't have any other. Although one thing, oh God, when I was 21, which was a long time ago, I bought my first new car and it was red, and all my Sheffield Wednesday fans went mental, absolutely mental, because I got a red car, and I've never ever owned a red car since, ever, never owned one since.
Do you have like tarot cards as well and shit? I didn't know.
I mean, I'm not like what is it? Oh God, there's a few, isn't there? The MP who he wouldn't eat bacon. It wasn't Blunkett, it was the other one, Labour MP. He wouldn't eat bacon on a Saturday, and I know all sorts of people who've got, like you say, favourite underpants or a certain shirt. So I used to live with a guy when I first moved out from home. I used to live with a guy who, when we won, he wouldn't wash his Wednesday shirt, right? And I remember, do you remember the Sanderson barcode shirt, which was David Pleat? We were top of the league, this, that, and the other. We saw at time Marty Greiser and all this. And I think we had this massive long spell of
8 weeks,
something like that. And he never washed his home shirt. And the particular guy, he might be a listener. I won't mention his name because there'll be people who knows him because he's a well-known Wednesday fan. Sweated a lot, right? And he used to come home for a match and he used to put it on the radiator. And by the end of, towards us losing, before we lost, this shirt just used to stink. And he'd leave it on the radiator all week.
Nice.
But yeah, he wouldn't wash his shirt until the point when we lost, and then he washed his shirt. So it's like washing the look out, apparently.
You were delighted. We've lost. Yes.
Like that. Come on!
My house won't stink anymore. God damn it.
Yeah. So that's it. That's mine.
Just before we have yours, I'll come to you next, Daniel. Stu Williams has commented, Fudge has a codpiece once worn by Lee from Steps that he wears every night game.
Does he live on my road?
He's got cameras in your house.
Well, Dan, have you? I bet you have. I bet you've got something stupid or thing that you do because you just do for every match game.
This season, I've started to wear my Sheffield Wednesday Tat Shop hoodie.
Nice plug.
That's been quite successful, and that's because I've been working a lot on Saturdays. I've not managed to make use of my season ticket much this more. So the twice I've worn it, we've done really well. I had it on the Pompey away. That was a good start. You know what I mean? I had it. I tried to wear it on the first day of the season against Plymouth. That was a terrible idea to wear a hoodie, so I went with the drill top instead, and that was also a terrible idea. But there was, when I was a teenager, and I used to have a season ticket from like 92 to 2002. And, oh God, this is weird. So we used to go to the Norfolk Broads with my grandparents. Me and my brother used to get, accosted and, from a parent's house. And our grandparents used to take us to Norfolk Broads. And there's a town there called Potter Heigham. God, this is boring. And it's got a really low bridge. So, and you used to have to get a pilot to go underneath that bridge, right? And so as the pilot and my granddad, wouldn't leave the boat unattended with the pilot, my nan used to take us shopping to this market, and I used to rinse my nan for a load of these white Calvin Kleins because, I was, 15, 16, 17, right? And in my head, white Calvin Kleins make the tan look good, right? And the year that I started wearing them to the football religiously was that same year that Simon talks about in that shirt. I think it was like 95, 96, oh, it's 96, 97 or something like that. And good Lord, it's a good job I bought more than one pair, Si, because they would have smelled like a packet of dry roasted peanuts by the end of the start of that season. You know what I mean? So that I couldn't not wear white underpants when I went to Tilsbury when I was 15, 16. That was weird, wasn't it? And Liam's been on and he said, this is a long story. Yeah, it is. It's a weird one. A lot of moving parts. You've got to keep up.
Charlie, have you got any weird habits or superstitious things that you do before the game?
I definitely agree with the red thing because I was obviously my dad, big Wednesday eye, and we always had a no red rule in the house. When we bought our first car, me and my husband, I said just not a red car, and he was like, "No, what kind of car are we buying?" I was like, "It just as long as it's not red, it can't be red." That was the rule. All my colleagues at work now don't give me a red mug because I'll not drink out of it. But I haven't got anything sort of pre-match that specific. But when we were on our unbeaten run in League One a couple of seasons ago, my dad had a sweater that he was wearing. And we'd not lost while he'd been wearing that, but he was on stage. It was play week, and he was like, "Shit, I'm not going to be able to wear it," and we're playing. So he brought it round to my house, passed it through the window, drove off, and I had to wear it while I watched the game. And we did. We either drew or won because it was still part of the unbeaten streak. That's real. You see, that must have worked because had he not worn it and I not worn it, we would have lost our unbeaten streak earlier.
It hasn't got Homer Simpson on it, has it, Charlie?
It hasn't, no, but it was really warm, too warm to wear in the house. But because I was like, it was an away game, like I was watching on stream, so I was like sweating in the house. Joe's like, "You're mental." No, I'm not. I have to do this. This is the only way that we're going to avoid. But also, I'd like to point out that I'm a lucky talisman at Hillsborough because every game I've been to so far, we've either won or drawn. So just saying.
To be fair, Charles, you've had more use out of my season ticket than I have. And we seem to do all right when you go.
Yeah, you're doing really well.
There's been some absolute mega comments now, Ash. And I put that one on by Holly again that said her and her dad had so many superstitions. Now, Holly has a set outfit that she wears to the games in that, she has to wear a retro 90s tracksuit top and that bloody blue hat that's been through hell and high water that she wears. And they never got there on time either. Putting stuff in rubbish bins, that's just an absolute misnomer. That's bollocks. They never got there on time. They used to turn up like 10 minutes in, climb over the fence at the front, disrupt everybody around them. I know her bloody game.
Dan, do you remember when she had the trifle? The trifle one,
Yeah,
was it last season?
Yes.
And she had to eat an entire trifle. And
Yes.
It worked.
Sharman did make a comment that Holly's clearly not to be trifled with.
I did wonder what that meant, and now I understand. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the trifle thing. Bloody hell.
Craig Haywood's been on. Both me and Ellie only drink tea Saturday before we set out in our blue and white mugs, pre-pub, obviously.
I like that one. That's a good one.
I personally haven't got anything like that, and I've never done anything like that. No, not for no reason. I might start, but I
don't know, Ash.
Yeah, that's why we're shit, Ash. Come on.
I was going to say, Ash, to be fair,
to you.
Oh, yeah.
You getting a pint on 38 minutes and missing a goal is normally par for the course, to be fair, bro. I think you've got a superstition without realising. I think.
I'll take that. A half-time pint. Yeah.
It's Ash's fault.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. In 2000,
Wow.
you did something, Ash, that completely just basically shit the bed since.
Right. It's quite a big question, and anyone watching needs your input on this one. I think this one. Right. So, Jay Blogs sent this question in. What would the TWW all-time England team be? As seen as its international break, what non-English delicacy, excuse me, should be on offer in the Sheffield Wednesday food halls? Calling them food halls is probably bigging them up. I'll just set off the hot water. So, anyone watching in the comments, comment as many of your all-time England players in what would be in your England 11. Get the comments in while we discuss about food. So I think we've got the better deal here, guys. So on the concourse, in the South Stand, North Stand, or in the Cop, Daniel, what food would you like to be served? I know the obvious answer is any, because they always run out. But what international food would you like to see?
I'm a big. If Simon from North Yorkshire Isles is watching this as well, he'll agree. It's got to be them bockwursts. It's got to be big German sausages where they give you the tiniest bread roll to eat them with, because it's essentially the bread roll is just there as a handle for your sausage. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's got to be a big German, big old bloody grill, big old German sausage. Do you get them outside or somewhere? We don't really have any chuck wagons out there, do they? And it's always burgers and onions and all the rest of it. But yeah, I'd definitely a big German sausage. Clip that.
Charlie,
I like them big
German sausage.
Hello. Them big samosas. Don't clip that. Oh god, it's 24 minutes in and it's just been nothing but wall-to-wall chaos.
It's smut. Just smut.
Samosas, because they're like pies, right? And the great thing about a pie at the match is it stays warm pretty much till like the full-time whistle. In fact, it stays too warm and you can't eat it. But the whole point of it is actually just to hold. And I think you could hold a nice little samosa on the cot when you're freezing, and you can nibble a bit of it, but that's not the point of it. It's like a big, massive hand warmer. And then by the time you've got home, it's cool enough to eat. So it's like a fun little post-game snack. So I think, and you can have loads of fillings, vegetarian, vegan, maybe, I don't know, gluten-free, I don't know. But yeah, and I would like an investment of £500,000 in my new samosa business. Please invest. Thank you very much for your time.
And it's the vegetarian options is the reason why I'm out.
Damn it. I knew I
Is
should have
that
played up
Ross?
market.
Is that Ross Wallace?
Honestly,
Is he?
He's at
He's
my
done well
door.
for himself, hasn't he?
Listen, the Danford Scottish accent is very good for many people. Just name a Scottish person, I can do it. You know what I mean? So, for example, the guy from Dragon's Den, and it's for that reason I'm out. And then you've got Jim White. And the man's just said to me outside in his text in, I can't believe this is happening, Simon. Get involved with your text. And then Simon just says, well, wibble, wobble, wibble, wobble, wobble, wobble. It's all about the money, wobble, wobble. And then I know it's crackers. And then it cuts to the news. And then he goes, Simon Jordan, it's Crystal Palace. You can't make your own news, Talk Sport. What are you doing? What are we doing? What are we talking about?
Simon, food.
Food.
From anywhere in the world, would you like to see on the concourse
Well,
at Hillsborough?
Well, obviously, I'm up in the grandstand, so you all accuse me of prawn sandwiches. So what I would really like is a really, really nice buffet.
Cheese and biscuits for
just set out. Just a nice buffet, so we can have samosas and pineapples, cheese on a stick, and some mini hot dogs, mini bratwurst. You know, like we have at Christmas. I love Christmas. You know, all the different Iceland do all the stuff. The mini burgers and all that, and you can just walk along with your plate, choosing what you want, and then have a glass of wine at the end, and then maybe walk up and sit in the stand and enjoy the second half of your buffet. Yeah,
in your padded seat.
Obviously, no sausage rolls because they can get in the bin. All right, they can get in the bin.
I'm taking umbrage with this, mate. I'm taking umbrage with it because two things happen here, right? British people around buffets cannot be trusted, right? And let me tell you for why. Because there are two things that happen now. You see a lot of pubs doing them. You know, Holly mentioned it just in the comments there. A beige buffet, yeah. A beige buffet is essentially a finger buffet. You put it on the table, or you put it on the buffet table. You pick up what you want, and then you just eat it, right? It's a finger buffet. That's what it's for. But you've got to have the middle-aged white women going, have you got any small plates? Can we have some small plates? It's on fucking plates. What you talking about? Like, use them ones. Have you got any small plates? And then the worst thing that British people do around a buffet, much to the chagrin of the rest of the world in terms of the way we eat food. Now, we've all been to those shit parties in Yorkshire. We've all been to them where you've got the paper plates stacked up. And then the best way to get people a napkin, instead of having a stack of napkins next to it, they put the napkin in between the plates. The amount of people I see put the food on top of the napkin. What's the matter with your brain? What do you think it's there for? Like some kind of moisture, sponge in order to get the grease. What's the matter with you people? The napkins for napkinning, not for putting your sausage rolls on your small plates. Get in the bin.
Sorry, I wish I'd said mini fish and chips. Never will I mention buffet again.
Buffets, British people, and have you got any small plates? And some ketchup. Got some ketchup?
Stu, who knew buffets would trigger Dan? Someone call his carer. I'm busy. I'm hosting. Is it next room? I'm gonna go. I like Mexican food, so I'm gonna go some sort of like burrito and nachos and tacos, that sort of thing. I think that'd go down well. Down my front, it'd go down well.
with your map of Africa.
Africa, yeah. I'm going that. I like a bit of spice as well. And
I tell you what, actually, you're playing with fire there, though, aren't you? Like imagine on an away day with 6 pints in, you're smashing a burrito and hot sauce. That's like Krakatoa rated to erupt, that, isn't it? Bloody hell! I can feel my belly rumbling listening about it.
I've seen some of the away day toilets as well, mate. Bloody hell! Yeah, actually,
when do we get on England? By the way, did we get England?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have just got rid of the England question. I did put some up. There was obviously Woods, Waddle. Sharman has gone Wednesday. Woods, Anderson, Hurst, Des. Excuse me, Chrissy Farfar. We had Shearer from Craig. That's a good shout, actually. Des Walker. And that's about it, really. And obviously, Stu Williams gone Waddle, obviously. So we are nearly 30 minutes in. It's time for a break. So listen up. Some people are going to try and sell you something. Don't listen. And we'll see you after the short intermission. And we're back. Thank you very much, whoever that was talking. It was probably Dan, but we don't know. Just on the last question, Jay Bloggs has come up with a last minute. He's gone goalkeeper Woods, left back of Hinchcliffe. He's gone Wednesdays. This was I think the question was just any
England 11, but I'm all right with it. It's a world-beating team for me, that, Ash.
So we got Woods, Hinchcliffe, left back, Viv Anderson, centre back. Des Walker, of course, centre back. Right back, Zico. Centre midfielder, Palmer. Excuse me. Right winger, Waddle. Striker, Hurstey. I'm light at left wing, centre mid, and centre forward.
Mark Bright can play centre forward for me.
Chris Bart Williams, I know a youth player. I'll take him for centre midfielder. Up front, Mark Bright.
Yeah, let's chuck Mark Brighton. Paul Williams.
Yeah.
Austin.
Paul Williams. Yeah.
Austin.
Warhurst played a game for England, didn't he? I'm sure Warhurst played a game for England.
I think B team.
I
think so. Yeah. But
Andy Sinton can play left wing. Chuck Andy Sinton.
Oh yeah. Now chuck him where? In the dot.
Yeah. That's when it all went wrong. Andy Sinton.
Right, here we go. Back to the let's have this question. At Dan Fudge, can anybody remember Mo Ross? It's very topical, this, Dan. I'm sure you tweeted about this day. So anyway, Maurice Ross, one appearance for Sheffield Wednesday in 2005, was it? Something like that. I'm sure Wikipedia thing, but yeah.
Let me tell you the etymology of this question, Smash. So we were doing some work because it's not the normal shit show that we make it look like. We're trying to do some prep into our social medias for Christmas and whatnot and stuff like that. And it made me look at various squad numbers that some players had, and one of the numbers was Mo Ross. I went, who the fuck is Mo Ross? I have literally got no recollection. And I was there when Nigel Clough played his one game for us when we got battered by Derby County, right? So I know that there's been some one appearance wonders, but Mo Ross, absolutely can't remember anything about him.
No, we've got Holly reckons an ex-husband, and it was the next big thing. So,
Maurice Ross was meant to be the next big thing. I bet he was on the future husband list for about 5 minutes, wasn't he?
Yeah, so bad. That's one.
Wow.
He never really played for us. He's the Mandela effect.
Yeah. He sounds like a real person. I believe you. I just don't have any recollection of him.
It's like
ever.
that extra character that the internet's trying to shoe on into The Simpsons. Like, he was there.
Yeah, the whole time.
Right, here we go. Next question up from, bloody hell. Can't get away from these podcasters asking questions. From Charlie, our very own Charlie. Charlie, if you could change one rule in football, no matter how ridiculous or potentially disruptive it would be, what would you change?
Cocks out drinking.
Get in the...
Sorry, I thought you meant stag do rules. Sorry.
Have you got a camera in my? Have you got a camera in my bar, Dan? Sorry about that. Sorry, Charlie. That way.
Get in the comments, everyone watching, and shout at your streaming devices if you're listening later on. Simon, any of the atrocious rules that we have in football that you'd like to change? And if so,
referees, get rid of the bloody lot of them. Just put them in front of a wall and, put them to bang, go. Not that I'm advocating mass genocide of referees, but
David Coop might agree with you.
Yeah. Well, the one where you're injured. So a player gets injured. So player gets injured and he has to go off the pitch and then come back. And it was a go off the pitch and the referee lets you on. And now they've done some stupid rule where it has to be for so long.
30 seconds.
So you could your player could get injured through no fault of his own, and you could be defending a corner. And it could be Dom who gets injured through no fault of his own. Their player fouls him or whatever, but it's not given as a foul. And then he has to go off and we're a centre back down. What a stupid rule. An absolute stupid rule. And I think it was designed, was it not, to stop people feigning injury, wasn't it? And, if you get penalised for being injured, then it stops you going down and pretending you're injured. Well, it didn't stop certain players doing it the other week at Bramall Lane, did it? Who fell over on blades of grass, etc. So not that I'm still bitter about that. That's a stupid rule. So there you go. In the bin, please. In the bin.
Stu Williams being on. Keepers not having to leave the pitch when they do a Stockdale. Same sort of thing as if they go down to pull, they're doing something, pulling the socks up or anything. They're down injured and they don't. But I think if keepers do that, the captain has to nominate one other outfield player to go off for 30 seconds.
That was literally mine. That one.
Was it?
Yeah,
sorry,
go on.
Daniel.
I've got more. Don't worry about it.
No, that's not mine. I was just commenting on Stu's, but I just think that it stopped obviously doing a Stockdale, as Stu said. But yeah, if they go down last 10 minutes, they're injured, and then they start pulling their socks up and all that, then I think the players should go off for 30 seconds. Because it happens for an outfield player, doesn't it? Like Size just said. So, I'll give you another couple of minutes to think yours, Dan. If you,
no, I'm all right. Yeah,
are you ready?
Let Chaz go. Let Chaz
Go on,
go.
then.
Because we
Go
don't
on,
have
Charlie.
I don't know if it is so much changing a rule as adding a rule, but if there's a break in play, you shouldn't be allowed to go and have a little bloody chinwag with your manager. That takes the mick, that. Because again, players going down, this is going to take like 3 or 4 minutes, and then suddenly it's a break in play and they're going and chatting tactics under the guise of having a bit of a drink. Absolute woke nonsense. You can have a drink at half time when we all are having a drink, and you can have a chat with your manager and get tactics at the end, or he can shout it to you from the other side of the pitch. It drives me nuts. And where else were I going with that story? Yeah, and another thing that I would also say is everyone should be allowed one offside is okay for a really good goal. If your goal is mint, it should be allowed to be a little bit offside.
Are you talking Will Bolt's Wembley?
I'm thinking of Wembley.
Yeah,
I just think if it's absolutely mint for the story, he's done a backflip, for crying out loud. Let's be generous with the VAR. You know what I mean? I just think, like, if it's a shit tap in, like, what do you mean offside or offside? Fine. But if it's an absolute beauty of a goal, who cares if he's a little bit offside? Everyone appreciates the magic of the game, right? So I'd say that. You don't get to do it a lot, but maybe you get one special one.
One a game, and it's like cricket. Use it or lose it.
Yeah, use it or lose it. Yeah.
A friend of mine, in fact, you friend of the podcast, AD, has one. You know where a player sees the ball out, so the ball's going out, and they sort of shield the ball out to go for a goal kick. He always says that the player who's coming in, the striker coming in, should have one chance of just basically kicking that lad's legs from underneath him. It should basically be, why is he allowed to just block it? I mean, that's obstruction. So he should be allowed to basically kick him. Only once in a game, but you should be allowed to kick him. And so they fall over and then get the ball and score. And he says, it really does his goating. Let's shield it in the corner. Let's just shield the ball out. And they lean back on the player, which is effectively, and they're nowhere near the ball. They're leaning back on the player. It's a foul. It's obstruction. So he's very similar to that, Charlie. And if it's a worthy goal.
Or introduce just one nut tap. You know what I mean?
Just a flick like that. Like did on Pato, didn't they?
You've got to wave it. You've got to wave it in the hand like Hulk Hogan doing the Hulkamania, like handshake, where it's kind of, you can feel the Hulkamania going through him, and you've got to stand there to signal to the ref that you're going to use your one dick tap that you're allowed. Just flick.
Is it like a card that Bannon pulls out as captain? Just to wave like a joker.
I was going to say a purple card, but Scottish people can't say purple, so you know what I mean. We need another one. You know what I mean? Have you ever
ring a bell? Literally.
Yeah, ring a bell because Scottish people can't say the word purple. I think it was a it's like when they try and say purple burglar alarm. They can't say it. It's a they can't do it.
Bannon running around the pitch with a bell in his pocket. It sounded like somebody's herding some sheep or something, wouldn't it? It's like
cowbell. That's what we need.
Cowbell, Swiss cows running around the field.
Dan, what's yours? Is that what yours is? The bell tap?
Burglar alarm. Yeah, I tell you what. Go through the comments first, because there's been some good ones there, and I just need to make a few more notes while I sit there and try and work out what other things Scottish people can't say, because all I've got right now is Northern Irish people can't say it's a power shower situation, because they say power shower situation. Carry on.
Jay Blogs, if two players on the same team go down in the box at the same time, neither have to go off. Bin it. Same thing, I think, is covered there. Holly, similar to my last one, me and my son play foul ball. When someone shouts, you can, and are encouraged to, hack people down with no consequences from the ref. AD and Holly are very similar. We used to play a hybrid on the park as kids called twat ball. And excuse my language, I'm on a podcast live here, so apologies for my sorry. But
I think that went ages ago, actually.
Apologies, but that was the net, and it was basically no rules football, and he could just and that was it, and and it's lots of injuries from that was. Mine would be for one season only. The back pass rule was abolished.
Really?
No. Imagine modern day
Denmark.
Imagine modern day footballers trying to cope with that.
Yeah.
You got to pass it round, pass it from the back. Nah, pick it up, man.
That's a good one.
That's it. Yeah.
That's a good one. I tell you what, there's a couple here, Ash, right? So, go on, read that one out.
Sorry,
that was brilliant.
Harpo Speaks is unorthodox, but bear with me. Wednesday to be allowed to take a free shot at the goal from the penalty spot.
Wow.
What is
That's
this thing?
official.
Yeah,
Wow.
Actually, you were saying only one season only, Ash. I feel like we're in it. You know what I mean? I feel like we're only doing that one. We had one from Sharman there, higher up, that said something along the lines of, go on, Ash, get it up for me.
Is it this one?
Opposition reviews. I feel like you've got opposition review in cricket, and then you've also got the red flag in NFL where you can challenge a decision, because I feel like there should be more thought about certain decisions, and I feel like if we're going to bin VAR, because I could get into an entire speech about that. I feel like an appeal is what we need. And if we don't have VAR in the Championship, why don't we have an opportunity that the Premier League big boys do? I find it incredible that we can play a League Cup game against Chelsea, for example, and have a goal chalked off for VAR when we've never played it. We don't know what the bloody hell's happening. What you're talking about? The ref said, the Lino said no, so give me a goal. I've also written multi-ball. And I think Holly's already suggested that one as well. She said siren goes off, and for the next 5 minutes, there's 10 footballs on the pitch. Multi-ball is what she said. The handball
like
rule.
The wave machine at Pons Forge is what I'm imagining.
Hang on, let me just make a note of that. Charlie goes to Pons Forge. She's middle class. And then, do you know what? I've written that. I go to Centre Parks and they have the same one. So,
Oh, hang on a minute.
We're all middle class here, kids.
Class wars.
But there's one here that I feel like we should bring back, and I feel like it's a forgotten art, and this is the one that I'm building up to. USA MLS penalties.
No.
No. Now, there's going to be a generation of people listening to this. Chaz, I'm going to educate you on a thing here, because this is insane. So instead of taking a 12-yard penalty like you would in a normal football game, what they used to do is have a striker on the kickoff spot on the halfway line, and the goalie in the goal. They blow the whistle, and that was your penner. So you'd have to dribble and try and round the keeper and slot it in, or you could go for a long range ping. If you ever look at US 90s penalties, it's absolutely incredible, and the drama was absolutely insane, and I feel like we should bring that back.
Or just do Disney penalties like Charlie did, wearing a beanie hat while you're doing it.
It's harder than it looks, you know.
They give him a beanie hat that hadn't been washed for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Taking a penalty against an owl with a massive head and glaucoma.
A gold garden fork. I mean, we're talking about penalties. What are these things?
We don't know.
2 more games.
Disney penalty now.
2 more games, and we beat the record. 2 more games.
Oh, that's depressing, Simon. Cheers for that.
Sorry about that.
We've had a question in the chat, so here we go. Jeff, midweek owl. Question, please. Does anyone actually enjoy the music that we come out to in the second half? Young and old around us, all moan about it. Now, this is a cracking question, I have to say.
Can somebody remind me of the music?
Is it that really heavy rock one?
But I can't think what it is.
I should have got it up, shouldn't I, before?
Someone will know.
Someone will know it, yeah.
Someone cool like Holly will know.
Yeah, Holly will know.
She's cool.
I've got it in the head, but I'm not going to thing it there. But no,
can you give me a hum? Can you give me a hum of it, Ash?
That's free from desire, that, isn't it? We don't come out with that.
I thought it was Bring Me the Horizon.
Well,
I thought it was Bring Me the Horizon.
Bring Me the Horizon.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I got you.
Yeah.
I got
No,
you.
I hate it. I hate it. It's rubbish. And why don't we come out to Hey Jude anymore? I used to like that in the second half. Just
I don't
something that
know,
you
yeah.
chant to. It's like you've had IO Silverline, and it should be something
Yeah.
that's got like a bit of a chant to it, rather than just been
Mm.
like, this music is a band from sort of the local area. So what? That's not relevant. That's a shit answer. There's loads of shit music from around the local area. It's not a good enough reason. It should be a Wednesday song.
I liked the people from 20 years ago, like the Contender series music. Did you ever watch the boxing reality show Contender? We have that music coming on. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great. Simon, do you like just in general the music? I know one season we went through just playing Wednesday band.
I always really like, and I can't work out why we play it, but I do like Waterfront by Simple Minds when we come out in the first half. And when it goes down, and it sort of echoes around the stand, and that feels homely for me. It takes me back to when we were good. And I do like that, but the Bring Me Horizon one's an odd one. It is an odd one. Why don't we use
Benny
like
Hill cheat theme would teach
Benny
us
Hill
all.
theme
no,
tune,
that's
so
what we ought to
funny.
go into. That's what when we finish, go into that one. I don't know. Yeah, it used to be Blitzkrieg Bop. I remember when we came out to that, and that is a hi ho, let's go. It's quite an upbeat one, but this one that they play at the moment, you know what? I've got bigger things to worry about. Like, are we going to turn over this 4-0 deficit, or why is there no buffet? It's
Where's my buffet?
Where's my buffet? Yeah,
I'm gonna take this moment to get something off my chest. I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to go full Dan Fudge buffet in a minute. I am, and this is, and I've said things on this podcast in the last couple of weeks that's going to get me cancelled and stuff anyway, but the band. I know it's been going on for years and years and years, but one thing that absolute boils my piss. Why do they start drumming when we're taking a free kick? Why? It's not like putting pressure on the guys, is it, or anything like that? What is it? Is it building an atmosphere for the free kick? Why? Anyway, that's it. That's
what Dan. I can see a buffet part 2 coming out here.
I tell you what, Ash has got a specific issue with the band, and it's the one where we're 1-0 down, or it's a team that we should be beating, and we're drawing, and we're 0-0, and it's boring, and they do this like this exasperated smashing against the drums that I absolutely bloody hate. I'm the same, because I feel like it builds pressure on the players, because I'd be like, can you fuck off? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're trying to play slow build football here, and they just want to get it in bloody mix it, and that's what it comes across as. Now, in the 90s, I feel, and the early 2000s, and all the time before, there was an opportunity for a band. I feel like, and I was quite proud of having one. I kind of liked it. It had an atmosphere. But since the team's fortunes have changed, and Danny referenced it last week in order to bring some current news into this show, it got me thinking that, is chanting a thing of the past? Are we a bit too socially aware now to really chant? Is it more of an away day thing? The amount of times we go to grounds and we go, is this a library? And people could come to us and say exactly the same. Do you chant, Chaz? You're a millennial.
Yes, I do. And I like gobbing off, you know me. I'm a gobshite. I like to shout. But when I remember coming to the match as a kid, I felt like it was one chant rolling into the other, and it was great. But one thing I will say, because someone put something similar on Twitter about kind of defending this, isn't it shit, our atmosphere? I think 2 things on that. The first is, if the football's dire, you can't blame people for being a bit like, whoa. Like, I get it, but at the same time, like, you get what you pay for.
It's a vicious circle, isn't it?
It is. If I did a shit job, my manager's not going to come and go, whoa, you can do it. Like, she's going to be like, what you're playing at. So, but the second thing is, I defend people's rights to watch football in any way they want. Away crowd is different for the most part. I'm not trying to be ageist here or anything like that, Simon, so don't worry. I just, for the most part, Sneak that one in there. For the
You
most
haven't
part-
been to an away game with
I've
me,
never been to an away
Chancellor.
game, so I can't say it. I can't say it. But like, it's generally like, you know, it's more of an event. It's like you're going away, you're going somewhere.
Yes.
I wouldn't say, I'm not saying it's always a younger crowd, but what I would say is at home, you are well within your rights to come and watch the match. You don't have to be expected to be screaming and cheering the entire time. That's fine, and I get that in an ideal world, yes, the atmosphere would be amazing, but the atmosphere can be amazing when it's a big game. But not every game is a playoff semi. Do you know what I mean? It can't
Yeah.
be like that. And I just think people, this pressure on like a bunch of like 70-year-olds or 80-year-olds that have been coming for yonks to have to be screaming every song. Let them sit there with their little, you know, the samosa and just
Do you know
like,
what,
watch the
Chaz?
football, for God's sake.
You've absolutely nailed it there, Chaz, because England is the best example as well. Watching England at home at Wembley is bloody awful. However, I can, for me, you know, miserable middle-aged craggy old man in his 40s, it's awful. Like England at home in a Nations League game it's a load of kids who are getting taken by their fathers who are like 10 years old. And every now and again you hear, "Come on, England," and you're like, "Oh, I'm glad they're having a good time." Don't get me wrong, but
Dad's gone to an England game.
It's just not for me, right? But me and Ash, you know, we've been to the Euros before, and it's absolutely bloody horrible. It's great, you know what I mean? And that's what it is, chanting, because it's an event. And I feel like you've touched upon it there, Chaz.
I think I would go down to the fact of where we've gone since the Hillsborough disaster, and the fact that we've gone to all-seater stadiums. Because when I used to stand on the Kop, there was a group who would go into the middle of the Kop,
stand in certain places,
and stand in certain places and sing. And what I'm noticing now, just got tickets for Derby, and you guys went to Pompey, didn't you? These stands are now starting to get safe standing zones, you know, and Derby's the same; it's safe standing. And I've been lucky enough over the last 18 months. One of the times with you two guys was to go to Germany and watch German football. And you can sit anywhere you want in the stadium, and there are certain areas of the stadium where you can sit and you can eat your samosas and your prawn sandwiches and this, that, and the other. But there are other areas where you can go and it is pandemonium. There's flags. There's a guy at the front with a megaphone. It creates an atmosphere, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the best football. We've been to watch Hertha Berlin, who are floundering around in what is equivalent to the Champions League in the Bundesliga, and not the best performances, not the best football, but my God, the atmosphere is just absolutely amazing. And we sat last time we went, when Dan fell asleep, we were right next to that crowd of ultras. He'd been drinking all day, a lot, and then had his bratwurst as well.
7.
Yeah. So the old man, was awake singing, and the young man was asleep at the side of him.
A lot of people say some stuff. Don't know what's happening.
But let's. Why don't we just go down the route of? And I know it might be a hard topic with Hillsborough, but let's have a safe standing area in that section in the Kop where it's the Owls, and then you will get the people who want to create that atmosphere diverging into that area and buying the season tickets in that area. And the trouble is, it's become diluted with people who do just want to sit there and don't want to sing. They just want to sit on the Kop and they don't want to sing. And then you get these little groups. You've got, what is it, T1 Massive. You know, they're people who left the Kop when they put alcohol in the south stand, in the north stand. You know, and they've never gone back. You know, we've got to start looking at how we can create an atmosphere at Hillsborough. And unfortunately, unless there's some amount of we want to do that behind it, it's never going to happen. And the bands, I'm sorry, but their time has gone. They need to just slowly disappear into the background.
I obviously, for me, the away when you go away it's totally different. A totally different atmosphere. It's altogether as a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and no doubt for any football fan that follows away. But I went to Coventry last season. It's different this season because they moved the away fans around a bit. But last season, their singing section, they got a corner that was singing. I don't think they shut up for like 80 minutes. I think they were just going, and they did have a drum. They did, but not a band. It was just a drum. So and it was absolutely one of the best home atmospheres that I've been to as an away fan. So I think you can do it, but it is going to be in that thing of we haven't got the corners. Obviously, our stadium is totally different to the CBS, but there's the T1. You've got them, and fair play to them. They do give it and all that, but there is some on the Cop that do. So there should be some section that if you want a singing section, I know someone put it up there. Hodgkinson said, should there be a singing section? I think there should be. I really do. I think there should be somewhere if it's half the Cop, if it's the T1 and I don't know, will it be T2 on the north? You know, make it bigger. If you want to sing, you buy your season ticket in there, and it'll be a couple of quid. But yeah, I think there should be for trialist sakes. But then you'll get and we've had this discussion in the WhatsApp. You'll get the other fans going, that's Tin Pot.
Exactly, we can't win. Yeah, you can't win.
But then you just have to ignore them and say, look, we're trying something. Like I think Arsenal tried marching through, you know, like the European teams where they march through with the banners. They march through, and I think Arsenal tried it and they got absolutely shot down on social media, and I don't think they tried it again. But
the thing is as well that we've got obviously the stadium's got a stigma attached to it, hasn't it, in regards to what happened with the Hillsborough disaster.
We can't keep going on about that all the time.
No, we can't. No, we can't. But what I'm trying to say is that the authorities put that on. We're not allowed flags. You know, we're not allowed. There's so many things that controls that they put on the fans. We can't take flags in. I mean, there was a point where you couldn't take flags in. You know, it's. But we need to encourage that. If you remember the days where we used to have the big flag that went up the Cop and back down again. You know, these sort of things need encouraging. And I do still think. I think having a safe standing area in the centre crop would be a great move forward. Loads of people would move, and they'd be the people who. Ethan and I would go in there. We'd go in there and enjoy it if it was safe standing. Absolutely love that because we go for the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, at the moment where we're
seats, Simon, you want to have padded seats?
I don't care. I want to go for the atmosphere because there's no atmosphere anywhere else in the ground. So I may as well just sit somewhere where I've got a nice comfy seat and I can see I can see the entire game unfold in front of me. You know, I'd rather pay for that at the moment, but give me safe standing. I'll be there, man. Straight in the middle of it.
Nice. Ian's put on, why can't we have flags? I think we can. I don't think that's a thing. I think that was quite a few years ago.
You can't have you can't have the thing with the thing, can you? Can't you take them if they're like...
you just can't have a stick.
That's
a stick. You can't take in because you might stick someone.
You might send it flying at a ref like a javelin. Rip flag off and launch it someday. Smack somebody right head with it.
What about this one? Stu said, as long as we don't do something like getting mauled by the Tigers. I mean, I didn't put that one in for you, Chaz, obviously, because yours is more of a scrappy do than a tiger.
Scrappy do.
Yeah. Right. Last question then. I know you're all loving this. So it's been put in by Charlie again. She's had a quiet time at work today.
I love questions.
You have to build a mega player out of 3 current Wednesday players. Which 3 are you? And I quote, smushing together and why? So, what are the attributes? Just anything? You can just take...
So, if you just want to pick 3 that you smush, but the idea being like, I'll have player A for his speed, player B for his feet, and...
So we can pick our own criteria.
Shithousing, and you just smush them together, yeah. You're building a mega, like an Optimus Prime-esque. Current squad. That would be more better.
Like Megazord.
Megazord, yeah. That's what I meant. What did I say? Optimus Prime. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Lost me on that one. So anyone in the comments, if you want to put your 3 players in for an ultimate smush players together. Since it's your question, Charlie, you must have thought about this. So I'll let the boys have a couple more minutes, and the floor is yours.
All right. So for speed, I've gone for Dom Iorfa. So I've gone his legs. Because I think most of his speed comes from the fact his legs are incredibly long, right? So you've got the legs of Dominic Iorfa. You've then got the torso of Pato, because I think if he was quicker, imagine that speed, but with that like barging, like kind of big shithouse energy. Yeah, that's what you want. And then I've gone for Josh Windasser's head, so he can score headers. Quick, muscle, head. Yeah, I think I have built the perfect player there. And he would look insane. Like, he would look really mental as well, which would be intimidating to the opposition. So I think that's perfect.
I think we might have the. I think this person has got, and I know why this person's put this, but I think he's gone in a totally different direction. I think he wants to be smushed. It's Simon, and it's Deshaun Bernard and Sam Hutchinson, and we all know why, Simon. So,
Simon, are you in the middle of that smushing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
there's a Bernard Hutchinson sandwich going on there, isn't there?
Yeah.
There is definitely. Go on, Simon. Your 3 current Sheffield Wednesday players that you would love to smush together for ultimate.
I love to smush together. I would have Pol's pace rather than Dom's pace because I think Pol would get less injured than Dom. So I would have Pol's pace. I would have Bannon's body because he has that sort of ability to just fly up and down the pitch all the time. So you'd have to have some Bannon in there, wouldn't you?
The engine, I think they refer to.
Yeah, the engine.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Even as a man in his mid to late 30s, it's that. And then head-wise, now that's a difficult one. Head-wise. I would go for Palmer. And I go for Palmer because he is 110% Sheffield Wednesday. So he'd run through walls for you. So he'd be really quick. He'd run up and down the pitch and he'd just do it for 90 minutes and never ever stop. It'd be like that sort of like bionic man from my days. It'd be Steve Austin. And he's that's what I would have. Yeah.
Cool. Danielson.
Oh, that's a really good answer. So I've gone with Barry Bannon for his footballing brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's clever, right? That's good. That's all right.
That's
and now
good,
the rest of this smushery all just falls to shit now because I've gone with Josh Windass because last year he had boy band hair, and who didn't want that, right? He put his highlights in. You know what I mean? Bye, brilliant. And then stupid, sexy Max Lowe because he's absolutely beautiful. So jot that down. That's all I've got. That's all. I even wrote notes for that.
So you've gone looks. So they're really good looking and also brainy, but they've got no legs.
You got for brains and hair.
While you guys were talking, I was trying to find a Sheffield Wednesday player whose surname was Lake, so I could go with Emerson Tome, this Lake, and then Liam Palmer, so I could have Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. And then I was going to put that back into a load of other a question we had prior about the halftime music, and I was going to go with Fanfare for the Common Mind by Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. But all that stand-up piece there falls to bits with me not finding a kid called Lake.
Paul Lake played for Man City years ago. I think we were allowed.
Boo on him.
I'm going to go with Heart of Palmer. I think for the reasons that Simon laid out, obviously 110% Wednesday eye, and I don't think you're going to get a better heart that bleeds blue and white than him. And Stevie will absolutely cruise me on the group chat for that. I'm going to go for. This is a hard one. I'm going to go for the IQ of Bannon. So footballing like Dan. I'm taking little bits. See how I did it? I went last, so I could take bits of everyone. I'll tell you what, and then I'm going to go the composure of Deshaun Bernard. I think the way he plays out from the back, and then obviously he's got his own jingle as well. But yeah, we've had some fantastic answers to this. So we've got Steve's been on and he's put Gassama Masaba and know how to pastorella.
Brilliant.
He's got the ultimate wide player that will actually cross the ball and pass.
Yeah,
them.
so
What we got? We got Bernard, Bannon, and Windass from Matt Schaefer. Bernard, Bannon, and Smith from Craig.
Bernard and Bannon getting a decent run out on this, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And we got. Did I put this one up? I did, didn't I? Pato speed, Beadle strength, Masaba's finishing. There you go. I've created Maurice Ross.
And again, you see, those callbacks are what makes it funny. If I'd have found a player called Alan Lake, I'd have been laughing. I'd have been laughing. My favourite one there was when Sharman said, "Is this a future husband for Holly?" And then Holly inquired, "Where can I find these smush player combos?" So
I'll make a man out of you.
At Si Hodgkinson's house, locked in his basement.
In his basement. Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us. I've just got one thing to say. I know you probably don't know or really don't care, but this week's a big week for the podcast. A few of us are journeying down to the capital for Thursday night's Football Content Awards, where we have been nominated for an award, which we can't believe. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for everyone. So we will be crying into our gin and tonics at midnight, no doubt, Daniel, after we don't win anything. But we're not doing it for winning anything. It's just fantastic being nominated. So thank you very much, everyone, for the support. No doubt you will know all social medias. Simon, we are truly now on all the socials as well.
We are. We're actually on all the social medias, including me.
Yeah.
All of them.
Which one's the one that we're on now? Can you remember?
It's Blue Sky. Blue Sky.
He's got
Blue
them
Sky,
all. Yes.
which looks very much like X, but has far less right-wing politics on it and a lot of cats and dogs at the moment, from what I'm seeing.
I've got no idea about it. Apparently, it's just
hang on a minute. So we're talking more cats and dogs and less grumble flicks. Is that what we're talking?
But then I joined, then it can all go beat tongue.
Wow. So, yeah, thank you very much for tuning in and listening. This has been the Wednesday week question and answers special. It's fantastic. And we'll see you next week. Cheers, everyone.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there, podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.